Hello, everyone. This is Covenant Baptist United Church of Christ, and this is our story. So as you'll hear from members of our team, we have faced many transitions, difficulties, and loss of members. We started out as a team of 4 and are now at a team of 2. You will hear from previous members and current members, and for those members who will continue to do the work. When we started this process, we were so excited with the possibilities of how we might reach God's people, how we might sit in a posture of listening and learning and beginning to discern what young people need, to understand what they have to say, and begin to respond and address those concerns. We were so very excited to see where God was going to take us. But we did not know when we began this process the trials and tribulations that we would face. We had no idea what the impact of having our pastors retire after 30 some years, what that would do to our congregation, to our community, and how this would impact our work with the Hub. So, as we share in these videos, hopefully you'll get a little bit of an insight of how we began the journey, how we worked through the journey, and how we are wrapping up the journey. We do want to say thank you to all persons who were involved, to people who were a part of this journey with us, but didn't see us to the end. We thank you.
The Wesley Innovation Hub sure did teach me a lot about who community is and how to get to know them. When I started, I thought that as a native Washingtonian and as a minister for a few years now, that I understood how to listen to people, and I thought that I understood a lot about what young people in particular might have been looking for or need from their church, from their religious community. And through the work of the Hub and working with others in my church, or in our church, it became clear to me that what young people are asking for is similar and different to what generations before have been asking, and the kinds of questions and the way that they're asking for their needs to be met in a spiritual community is different. And so that is an invaluable thing to learn just through the power of listening. Having experienced the power of storytelling through the Bible, it was really interesting to hear the parables in people's lives, and not the usual parables in the way that people would connect their stories to the Bible. But it was interesting to see those same kinds of storylines and story arcs play out in the people in our community at large. So I am just extremely grateful to the Wesley Hub for this opportunity, for choosing Covenant to partner with them in this work of understanding what are the religious needs of young people today, and to give them space to speak and really open our ears and our hearts and our minds in a whole new way. One thing that I think I will carry with me is to be open to one new way, one more thing that can be done, and to try an engineering approach, make a plan, work your plan, and figure out what worked and what didn't work, and just be open to trying one new thing, be open to trying again, be open to trying in a different way. And that, I think, is a great life lesson. So I'm happy to have walked and waded in those waters, if you will, with the people of our church community. So again, I thank you, and I hope the work continues.
I've learned to always be ready for anything because be ready for the unexpected, because anything can happen at any given moment that you might not even think of, and you got to move fast. I also learned to be patient in the process and not get discouraged. Just try to think of different ways that things could be done. Like Katrina mentioned in her video, always be open to new things. It's always one more way. So that's definitely true in this situation. My takeaway would be to press on despite anything, and to just have faith that things could go accordingly, as long as you just stay patient through the process and never give up.
I think the biggest thing that I have learned is how important it is to be able to pivot. Pivot has been our kind of code word and our base throughout this whole process. And one of the great things about this work was that we had the latitude to make whatever changes we needed to make in order to make the process work for us. So being able to pivot when we needed to, I think that early on when we learned about pivoting and really got into the discussions about what that looks like, I don't know that any of us had any idea how critical that would be to us at this phase of the project. I don't know that we really understood the gravity of being able to pivot pre-COVID. So COVID kind of forced us to pivot. And I think we all struggled, quite honestly. We struggled with how to move all of our events that we had planned out as in-person events. We struggled with how to get that to an online format. One of the things that I am appreciative of is that even though we didn't realize it at the time, Wesley gave us what we needed to be able to pivot actually quite easily. And it came a little late, but I remembered early on when we were doing one of the first quarterly reports, they asked who we were going to partner with, if there were any organizations or people we were going to partner with. And as I was going back over some of the paperwork, this you and I have tried to figure out how to pivot in this environment, it hit me that we didn't necessarily have to do it on our own. And so I think once we remembered that we could partner with other people, the work came a little bit easier because we realized we didn't have to recreate the wheel, that we had other people and partners in place that we could connect with and begin to do the work virtually that we had planned to do. One, I guess, for me, the key takeaway is to just continue to do the work. One of the things we always say at Virginia Union is to trust the process. And I think we all became a little disenchanted toward the end when COVID, or actually not even toward the end, but when COVID hit. We started out with a strong team of 4. We lost some people, and it's just been, as you say, somewhat of a challenge trying to figure out how we were going to do this, just the 2 of us together. So I am I'm reminded that everything works together for the good of those who love the Lord. And I think that just through pushing through everything that we've had to push through, this has been truly a season of transition for us, both with the Hub and as a congregation, and actually for us individually, moving into this COVID environment. So I think just being able to trust the process and relax and breathe and know that we have all the tools we need to be able to do the work outside of the walls and in a virtual space that we could do either inside the walls or in a physical space outside of the church walls. So just being flexible, recognizing that change is tough for everybody, and that there is always a way to make it through to the other side as long as you persevere. I'm gonna close with something that we put in our story. I think we started out, one of the things we started out with recognizing is that we were great at brainstorming. I think we brainstormed for almost a year and a half. We came up with a whole lot of ideas. But Jesus did not necessarily work in large numbers. Sometimes Jesus had to work with people one-on-one. Sometimes he had to work with people one by one. And so I think we initially started out really concerned about trying to have events where we were able to meet some numbers and show some numbers. And those numbers vary depending on what the event was. However, I also think that in hindsight, the events that we have hosted, we may not have been able to do the numbers that we expected. If we take the mindset of Jesus and just be able to reach one and meet that one right where he or she is, then in my mind, we have done the work that we've been called to do.